Welcome back, friends, to Bill's Odyssey, the channel where we explore the world's most amazing destinations. Today, we're heading to the Great White North, Canada. And why Canada, you ask? Because Canada is like a giant maple-flavored, nature-loving wonderland. So, strap on your toques, grab some poutine, and let's dive into the top 10 must-visit places in Canada. First up, it's Niagara Falls. Known as the honeymoon capital of the world, Niagara Falls is the place where romance and nature elope, then have a really loud and wet wedding. These falls straddle the border between Canada and the US, but trust me, the Canadian side has the best view. Standing here, you'll be awestruck by the sheer volume of water crashing down every second. It's about 3,160 tons. That's like 1,500 times your average backyard pool per second. These mighty falls have been wowing visitors since the 17th century, when French explorer Father Louis Hennepin first documented them in 1678. They were formed during the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago, when melting glaciers created the Great Lakes. The name, Niagara, comes from the Iroquoian word, Ongiara, meaning, the strait. While you're here, don't just view from the sidelines. Get up close and personal with the falls on the Maid of the Mist boat tour, or journey behind the falls for a different perspective. And if you're feeling particularly daring, zip line across the Niagara Gorge. Next, we have Quebec City, where Europe meets North America. Think of it as the perfect blend of Parisian romance and Canadian politeness. Founded in 1608 by Samuel de Champlain, Quebec City is one of the oldest European settlements in North America. The city's name comes from the Algonquin word, Quebec, meaning, where the river narrows. It's the only fortified city north of Mexico, with its impressive walls and gates still standing proud. Quebec City's Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Filled with cobblestone streets and 17th century architecture, it makes you feel like you've stepped into a fairy tale. Seriously, if Belle from Beauty and the Beast lived in Canada, she'd be here, having coffee at one of the quaint cafes. Walk through Place Royale, where Champlain established his trading post, and marvel at the iconic Chateau Frontenac, which dominates the skyline. Make sure to visit the stunning Montmorency Falls, just a short drive from the city. At 83 meters high, it's taller than Niagara and offers spectacular views, especially in winter when it turns into a giant ice wall. Calling all thrill seekers, Whistler is the ultimate playground for outdoor enthusiasts. If you're into skiing, snowboarding, or just enjoying stunning mountain views while sipping hot cocoa, Whistler is your spot. Whistler's history as a ski destination began in the 1960s, when the resort was developed for a bid to host the 1968 Winter Olympics, though it didn't host until 2010. Before this, it was a small logging town. Today, Whistler Blackcomb is North America's largest ski resort, with over 8,000 acres of skiable terrain. Fun fact: Whistler was named after the whistling marmots that live in the mountains. And yes, they do whistle, especially when they're alarmed. But it's not just a winter wonderland. In the summer, the area transforms into a haven for mountain biking, hiking, and ziplining. The Peak 2 Peak Gondola, connecting Whistler and Blackcomb Mountains, offers jaw-dropping views year-round. And if you prefer something more chill, the village has plenty of shops, restaurants, and a buzzing nightlife to keep you entertained. Winnipeg might be known as the gateway to the west, but it's also Canada's hidden gem. Winnipeg's name comes from the Cree word for muddy waters, referring to Lake Winnipeg, and it's been a significant trading hub for centuries. In 1873, it was officially incorporated as a city. The Winnipeg General Strike of 1919, one of the most influential strikes in Canadian history, took place here, shaping labor laws nationwide. Today, the city boasts the impressive Canadian Museum for Human Rights, a beacon for understanding and celebrating human rights worldwide. The Forks, a historic meeting place at the confluence of the Red and Assiniboine rivers, offers shopping, dining, and a variety of events. Plus, if you visit in winter, don't miss the skating trail on the frozen Red and Assiniboine rivers. Welcome to Calgary, where the West is still a little wild, and cowboy hats are always in fashion. If you've ever wanted to embrace your inner cowboy or cowgirl, this is the place to do it. Calgary's origins date back to 1875, when it was established as Fort Calgary by the Northwest Mounted Police. The name, Calgary, comes from a beach on the Isle of Mull in Scotland. The city grew rapidly with the arrival of the Canadian Pacific Railway in 1883 and the discovery of oil in Turner Valley in 1914. Calgary is famous for the Calgary Stampede, known as the greatest outdoor show on earth, which began in 1912. For 10 days every July, the city transforms into a massive rodeo and festival, complete with chuck wagon races, concerts, and even a pancake breakfast. But Calgary isn't all just boots and buckles. It's also a modern city with a stunning skyline, thanks to the iconic Calgary Tower. Take the elevator up for a panoramic view of the city and the Rockies in the distance. And if you're feeling brave, step out onto the glass floor, it's a long way down. Next, we head to Victoria, the capital of British Columbia, and a city that's as charming as a basket of kittens. Located on Vancouver Island, Victoria is known for its beautiful gardens, historic buildings, and relaxed vibe. Victoria was established by the Hudson's Bay Company in 1843 as Fort Victoria, named after Queen Victoria. It quickly became a key British settlement in the Pacific Northwest and the capital of the colony of Vancouver Island in 1858. Butchart Gardens is a must-see, with 55 acres of stunning floral displays, originally started in 1904 by Jenny Butchart as a private garden. Whether you have a green thumb or struggle to keep a cactus alive, you'll be blown away by this horticultural wonderland. Victoria's inner harbour is also a sight to behold, with the majestic Empress Hotel standing proudly on its shores. The hotel, opened in 1908, is a piece of living history and an icon of Edwardian elegance. If you're into history, check out the Royal BC Museum, where you can learn about the province's natural and human history. And here's a fun fact: Victoria is often called the most British city in Canada. You can even enjoy afternoon tea at the Empress Hotel. Now, let's head to the capital, Ottawa. This city is where Canada's past, present, and future converge. Ottawa was chosen as Canada's capital by Queen Victoria in 1857 because of its strategic location between Toronto and Montreal and its distance from the American border. The name, Ottawa, comes from the Algonquin word, adawa, meaning, to trade. Parliament Hill is the heart of Ottawa, and the changing of the guard ceremony is a must-see. The Parliament buildings, with their Gothic Revival architecture, were completed in 1866 and are home to Canada's federal government. Take a stroll along the Rideau Canal, a UNESCO World Heritage Site built between 1826 and 1832. In winter, it transforms into the world's largest skating rink, and in summer, it's perfect for boating and biking. And if you're a museum buff, Ottawa won't disappoint. The National Gallery of Canada, with its giant spider sculpture out front, and the Canadian Museum of History are just two of the many you should check out. Next we visit Vancouver, where urban sophistication meets breathtaking nature. This city is like a supermodel who's also really into hiking and sustainable living. Vancouver was incorporated in 1886, named after British naval captain George Vancouver, who explored the region in the 1790s. The city's growth was spurred by the completion of the Transcontinental Railway in the 1880s, making it a key port city. Stanley Park, one of the largest urban parks in North America, was opened in 1888 and named after Lord Stanley of Preston, the same guy who gave us the Stanley Cup. It offers everything from serene forests and beaches to the famous seawall, perfect for biking or rollerblading. Vancouver's food scene is also top-notch, with a diverse array of options reflecting the city's multicultural population. Granville Island, once an industrial area, has transformed into a bustling market and cultural hub. Take a ferry across False Creek for amazing views of the skyline. Bienvenue à Montreal. This city is a lively mix of old and new, French and English, bagels and smoked meat. Founded in 1642 by French settlers led by Paul de Chomedy, Sieur de Maisonneuve, Montreal is named after Mount Royal, the triple-peaked hill in the city's center. It's the largest city in Quebec and the second largest in Canada. Start your journey in Old Montreal, where you'll find narrow streets, historic architecture, and the magnificent Notre Dame Basilica. The basilica, built in the Gothic Revival style, dates back to 1829 and features stunning stained glass windows depicting Montreal's religious history. Montreal's festivals are legendary. From the International Jazz Festival to Just for Laughs, there's always something happening. The city's vibrant arts scene reflects its rich cultural heritage and modern creativity. If you're into sports, catch a hockey game at the Bell Centre. A must-visit is Montreal's underground city, also known as Réseau. This 33 square kilometers subterranean network connects downtown Montreal's buildings, shops, and transport hubs through 32 kilometers of tunnels. Started in the 1960s, it offers weatherproof access to over 2,000 establishments and major metro stations. Explore this vast urban maze, perfect for escaping harsh winters and enjoying year-round shopping, dining, and entertainment. And finally, we have Toronto, Canada's largest city and a bustling metropolis that never sleeps. If New York and London had a baby and sprinkled it with politeness, you'd get Toronto. Toronto was founded in 1793 by British colonists as the town of York and renamed Toronto in 1834. The name, Toronto, is believed to come from the Mohawk word, Tikaronto, meaning, place where trees stand in the water. The CN Tower is Toronto's most iconic landmark. Built in 1976, it held the title of the world's tallest freestanding structure for 32 years. Take the elevator to the observation deck for a view that's worth every heartbeat skipped on the way up. And for the adrenaline junkies, try the Edge Walk. It's like bungee jumping, but horizontal and with better views. Toronto is also a cultural melting pot, with vibrant neighborhoods like Kensington Market, Little Italy, and Chinatown. Each offers a unique taste of the city's diversity. For sports fans, catching a Blue Jays game at Rogers Centre or a Raptors game at Scotiabank Arena is a must. And if you're a film buff, the Toronto International Film Festival is one of the biggest film festivals in the world. Toronto also has many green areas, including the 400-acre High Park, which has trails, sports facilities and a zoo. For the thrill seekers, be sure to visit Canada's Wonderland. This 330-acre amusement park opened in 1981. It was the first major theme park in Canada, and still remains as Canada's largest. Pay a visit to Casa Loma. This Gothic Revival castle-style mansion in Midtown Toronto was built in 1914, and now stands as a historic house museum and landmark. There you have it, my top 10 must-visit places in Canada. Whether you're a nature lover, a history buff, or a city slicker, Canada has something to offer everyone. And if you're planning your next trip, I hope this list gives you some inspiration. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming adventures. This is Bill signing off. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep exploring, and look after each other out there. Safe travels.